Wow, that's nonsense! The 4th of July. And this is a sensation, friends. The SBU carried out the special operation Web 2. They destroyed locomotives with hundreds of tanks and dozens of pieces of equipment. So they say. What are you writing? Right now, Russian war correspondents are crying about this. We're waiting for confirmation. God, SBU, don't stop! A series of explosions in Moscow, the Moscow region, Nizhny Novgorod and Kursk. Yo, music! Sorry for the poor quality, guys, but it is what it is. Boom, bada boom. Muscovites are rejoicing. Are you kidding me? It just exploded about 200 meters away. Bro, I just stepped away from the table. I think we're the closest to the epicenter of safety. Smoke is burning. There's a piece over there. The fire trucks are putting it out. White smoke means they're extinguishing it. The scariest part is that the forest got caught up in it. Boom, bada boom, burn bright. Don't let it go out. In Pushkino, near Moscow, a warehouse with fuel and lubricants and gas cylinders suddenly caught fire. And it's all because dozens of drones were flying toward Moscow. The powerful engine, positioned at the rear, is currently making a complete and full circle. And at this very moment, they decisively went to shoot it down. At least, thankfully, it didn't tragically fall directly onto anyone's head. So it appears that something significant is indeed going on within the murky swamps. Today is truly a non-stop exciting file show, my dear friends. Please kindly take a moment to like this video, generously subscribe to my channel, and thoughtfully leave some truly kind words in support of Ukraine in the comment section. Also, please share with us where exactly you're watching from. So please like, comment and subscribe, and then let's get started right away. Somewhere it's the second one, somewhere. Ukraine is already fed up with this. In Kstovo, Nizhny Novgorod region, after a drone attack, a bitumen plant is on fire. The Lukoil Nizhny Novgorod oil refinery is also burning intensely. And this is the second attack on the refinery in less than a year. Oh. All three Iskander-M launchers were destroyed as a result of a missile strike in the Bryansk region. They hit it, look. They hit the scum's base. Yeah, really, what the heck is that? Well, Muscovites are actually literally shooting down drones with their bare hands. Or more precisely, with pistols. Here's the situation. So over there is muddy ground. Right. Here we've got an air defense system. Right here is the air defense, these guys shooting at the targets like this. And over there they end up crashing in the forest. Moscow is on the line. The cherry on top. The armed forces of Ukraine shot down a Russian 4th-generation multi-role fighter jet, the Su-35. The aircraft was shot down in the Kursk direction. Boom, bada boom. The ground is like fiberglass. And our Neptunes are striking Sevastopol. A bit early though. In Sevastopol, they started celebrating Neptune's holiday. Set up mustaches of fire. And that's not a factory. And now, your favorite topic. Moscow, which got flooded. Everyone's heading to the sea, but here we are. And over there, people are actually swimming. Damn. A downpour with hail hit Moscow and the Moscow region. Heavy rain, wind, hail, we are thousands, like queens. Today, bad weather is expected not only in Moscow. City services are warning that the capital will see rain with thunderstorms and strong winds up to 15 meters per second. In the second half of the day, thunderstorms will rumble in Moscow. But here, there's hail. Everyone is out in the thousands. Hail. It hit the Moscow region, and this is what it's like in Korodov. It's all hail, it's hail. This is pure fucking hail. And finally, as usual, let's take a look at a breakdown of top-notch Russian propaganda. Look what's happening on Prospect Mira, not far from their main mosque. On the days when they have Eid al-Adha, there is no traffic on this 12-lane highway. 12 stripes, 6 in one direction and 6 in the other. And so, from the balcony, people are filming from the Prospect Mira metro station and into the distance along the Yaroslavsko highway. There is no end in sight. The whole space is covered with people. And these people are men, healthy, sober men, all of whom practice wrestling. They go to gyms to train. This is an army, a whole one. And if one day a mullah orders them to slaughter Muscovites, believe me, they'll do it quickly. Because the Ministry of Internal Affairs won't even have time to make a sound or handle it. And the result will be very sad. Why are they strong? Well, I'll say it again. Because they are united. The only thing that binds them is faith. Some idiot who put on a cassock. Honestly, I can't call him anything but an idiot. These are representatives of the army of the Antichrist. There's no other way to put it. The spiritual administration of Muslims is telling billions of Muslims that our faith is wrong. I have a very important question for you. Who exactly are you to say such things as that? There are 30 million indigenous Muslims living in Russia. And what exactly do you truly want to tell us whether our deeply held faith is right or wrong, while we are diligently doing everything we possibly can to unite both Muslims and Christians? And then there's yet another idiot like this. They also make such provocative statements. But again, I have a question. Does someone really have to go and break the law and do something so that these idiots like this stop saying such things as this? And if anyone raises the head of nationalism, that head needs to be cut off. It simply needs to be cut off, that head. But why are they allowed on the Crimean Bridge? Doesn't that stir any particular emotions in you? But if we hit the Kyiv dam, you get upset every time. But if Ukraine strikes the Crimean Bridge, what's stopping us from destroying it? What then? I honestly don't understand. Personally, I don't post all these things. And it's not that I'm happy about it. I understand that. But I try to think logically. Vladimir Rudolfovich, you're not being logical. Because I read what the experts say. Yes. This sabotage didn't even cause any damage to the Crimean Bridge. And if it could have, and you're talking about the Kyiv dam, tens of thousands of people died there at the very least. I want to remind you, that was sabotage, but this is terrorism. These are different things. Vasilich, excuse me, I want to remind you that the previous sabotage on the Crimean Bridge resulted in people dying. Moreover, it was only a stroke of luck that the passing train nearby didn't derail, because the plan was... I'm not arguing with you, not because I want to cover for anyone. No, but why should I assume that the dam would lead to people dying? If you blow up the Kyiv dam, do you realize, wait, it's not just one thing, hold on, it could drag on, not just be suppressed. Just listen closely. The water would quickly flood and completely submerge everything. Half of Kyiv region. In the Kyiv region, civilians would die. And on our side too, we ourselves would perish. Just a minute, just a minute. When the Ukraine Nazis blew up the Kakhovka hydroelectric power plant dam, I don't recall anyone being particularly upset about it. Look, I was there. I saw all of this with my own eyes, and people died. So what? Vividly. Did the world community even flinch? Look, excuse me, do you know how many strikes hit there? They were deliberately pounding it with HIMARS. And just think how much money was spent firing those HIMARS to bring down that dam. And so what? I'm all for punishing those terrorists who... I get it. But I'm against calling for revenge. Let's just cross Oreshnikov and blow up the dam in Kyiv? Or in Skiv? Well, pass it to me. So are you suggesting that during the Great Patriotic War we should have bombed Berlin? Russia, as always, underestimates its opponents. They seriously underestimated Mr. Zelensky and his team, no matter what they called him. Let's remember comedian, drug addict, expired, and so on and so forth. Then, apparently, the people who called him those names and used those epithets were just trying to assert themselves. Cheap drones, where artificial intelligence was used, where there was delivery involved, that's a successful special operation. Do you understand? In the language of special services, this is a very successful, bold, and effective operation, which resulted in minimal costs, but caused billions of dollars in damage. What can I say? Bold and effective. Here he is, as you can see, the head of the security service of Ukraine. How did something like this become possible? How? They spent a year and a half preparing. Everything was calculated precisely. Everything was prepared meticulously. After all, this is a success for the SBU, no matter what anyone tells me. And here, I don't want to label anyone or pass judgment, but it turns out that the entire Russian state machine was prepared for anything except this special operation. Isn't that right? So they didn't even consider it in their models. I'll answer you. And it turns out that we're all left hanging, quite literally. We don't know where these trucks might be, whether there are similar trucks, whether there are similar caches. After all, with what they've demonstrated today, it's possible to destabilize things without even sending drones from Ukrainian territory, for example. The operation of key aviation hubs across Russia. We can see that they've reached as far as the Amur region. So it turns out that any rear areas, any industries, any directions can be destabilized. And this reminds me of the story with Mossad, you know, the special operation with cell phones. But here it's even bolder. Here there's artificial intelligence, storage delivery, and in fact, the strike itself, this is a weakness, not a strength. It turns out that the opponent has a different model. Everyone used to laugh at him, right? They said, yeah, he's this and that, but he created the system. Was it him or was it his team? If it was his team, then it's to his credit that he put together such a team. In Ukraine, whose leaders Putin just called terrorists, people are still shedding tears over the nuclear arsenal that was handed over to Moscow after the collapse of the Soviet Union. They're suggesting making dirty bombs from the fuel left at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Supposedly, it would only take a few weeks to do this. And then, without warning, drop the bombs on Russia. These people are sick. Hello. You're watching Channel 1 Live. This is the program Time Will Tell. I'm Artyom Shainin, which means, as always, at this time, the most important and most relevant news. Today is the 2nd of June, and the news on the 2nd of June is just something else. News that outshines all other news, if only because it's so important, interesting, and all-encompassing that the news from the 1st of June, against this backdrop, there's really no need to even discuss it. Because the news from the 1st of June, well, that was yesterday. So, for anyone who's interested, the news from the 1st of June, I wrote a lot about it yesterday on my Telegram channel. If you're interested, check it out, read the news and see what I think about it. But since that was yesterday, and today is the 2nd of June, and today is Istanbul, so we'll be discussing the 2nd of June and Istanbul. Because, well, you all understand why. That's it. You know what we need to do? So that when a Gurovets or an Izbushnik or a recruited Mayajan gets behind the wheel of a heavy truck and drives to a military airfield, so that from the vehicle he's driving, drones were launched. And we need him to perceive such a trip not as a journey to buy bagels at a Russian fair, but as a one-way road. He needs to understand that when he gets arrested, he won't be sent to a detention center where he'll get some medical care, read books, rest, eat well, and then return home with medals and decorations during the next prisoner exchange. Instead, he will be shot, or better yet, hanged. That's how it should be. And there's no need to liquidate them during the arrest. I want to emphasize that it's too easy. There should be a trial, an investigation, and a very brief one at that. We can introduce a simplified form of criminal proceedings and the death penalty by hanging. And that's right, and that's good. And that will change the rules of the game. There's no need to listen to the chairman of the Constitutional Court who tells us fairy tales about liberal values, about Europeans, about how the world will be offended, about how it's all so complicated, about how hard it is to change these laws. None of that is necessary. A presidential decree, we end the moratorium. And as part of this decree, we draft a presidential decree of the Russian Federation on urgent measures to combat banditry, terrorism, and sabotage. And then we introduce simplified procedures, detention for 30 days without trial. We detain, place the person in a cell, and carry out operational measures with them. By the way, this will be very useful when it comes to migration issues. And most importantly, it's the death penalty, simplified criminal proceedings, and hanging. That's it. And then a lot will change. And that's why, Vladimir Vladimirovich, the inspection has just taken place. The regions have started to implement some things. But it's very important to maintain this attention, this coordination, this support, this training. And I strongly ask for your decision to transform the all-Russian inspection, which you instructed to conduct, into the all-Russian Family Assistance Service. Retribution, or more precisely, just punishment for those who orchestrate all this, is inevitable. And we, as civilized people at that moment, will negotiate with them. We'll be discussing how they prefer to stand against the wall, with their eyes blindfolded, or on their knees facing the wall, or bravely looking straight into the barrel. These are the three options that, in the end, we'll have to negotiate with them about. We, as human people, will grant them the right to choose as their last wish. After all, strategic aviation is part of our nuclear triad. So they didn't just target the plane, they specifically targeted the aircraft that carry special munitions. More precisely, the Kyiv-55 missiles. 16 of them are loaded onto the Tu-95 and off it goes. And half of America could easily be wiped out by a single plane. That's the point, basically. Now, here's the question. Who is personally responsible for the nuclear triad? Who is it? That's right, the General Staff. The General Staff is responsible for the nuclear triad. You know what's really scary? I really hope this doesn't get swept under the rug, that someone is held accountable for it. Not just a scapegoat, like the airbase commander who didn't secure the base properly. This is a systemic problem. That's what it turned out to be. And not only should someone be removed from their position, but they should also be held criminally responsible under the criminal code for causing such enormous damage to our country. When they attacked the Kursk region, it was never stated directly, openly, or honestly that, of course, when we liberate the Kursk region, you shouldn't expect us to just stop at the border. Obviously, we'll go further. Well, they said it outright, I'm coming for you. How could we be more honest? What's so devious about that? Now they're surprised. Why us? No, now they even want to give us Chernihiv. Well, they'll go down that path because they're planning something in Vranks over there. Well, yes. And Odessa should be there. Igor Olegovich won't let you lie. At the same time, yes, indeed, sometimes the voices of common sense break through. I often quote Professor here, Chernigov, I'm bad at geography, who's easy, old Russian city. Yes, yes, and where is he now? Near Ukraine. That is Kyiv, temporarily occupied Ukraine. So this is a Russian city? Well, of course, still. And Kyiv? Even more Russian. Kyiv is more complicated. What? Well, you know, Kyiv was sold to us by the Poles. Well, all the more. Right. We paid money. And now, why is someone living there? Now we'll get to Lviv. No, this, who's there? Well, get out of there. There you go, Prince. Some riffraff showed up. So I suggest we demolish it and rebuild it from scratch. Why demolish it? Demolish it. So, citizens of Kyiv, Black Tsar, I do not consider you citizens of Ukraine, residents of Kyiv, immediately. Leave this cursed place. As of today, have we gotten any closer to peace or not? If our main trend was, you still don't get it. You're the one who needs peace. I need it. Does everyone need peace? No. We need victory. We have a completely different goal. Our goal is to ensure the prosperity of our country and its security for generations to come. If achieving this means that Nazi regimes and the political elites supporting them must cease to exist, then so be it. We do not have the goal of preserving the Ukrainian political nation, but that's not what we're being accused of. That's why we don't need peace. We need victory. Victory is what we need. Do you understand? Our conditions are very simple. Our national interests must be upheld. Peace at any price, a ceasefire. We have never said that. Not once. After a series of incidents on the railways, aren't you afraid to use rail transport? No, because we walk under God's protection. What will be, will be. Why be afraid? Live for today and enjoy life. I just bought a ticket to Crimea, to Theodosia, to a sanatorium. I was given it for treatment. It was really hard, but I managed to get a ticket. Still I'm going. Wherever they send me. Yeah, really, where to? What for? What, to the Crimean Bridge? I'm going to Crimea, to Theodosia, to a sanatorium. I'm not worried. I believe it's America, England, the Western countries, mainly America, who are behind this. And all these puppets, Ukraine too, they're just using it as a puppet for their own purposes, to put pressure on Russia, but they can't achieve anything else. Their weaponry is quite inferior to ours at the present moment. It is a significant disadvantage for them. That's why they've resorted to sabotage, like partisans in advance. That's all there is to it.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
This particular situation has been going on for many years. We don't really know precisely how, but it just keeps continuing. We want just for a few days to resolve this. Come on, no, we're all leaving. One more, second floor. Yeah, we're leaving, because we have... And here, the photographers truly need to go home. Please kindly like this video and subscribe. Yes, we are very happy to global audience all over the world, so that they can fully know the absolute truth about the ongoing Russian aggression, both inside and outside Russia, against Ukraine. Every thoughtful comment and every valuable subscription from you is greatly appreciated. Helps ensure that as many people as possible around the world see this video. Stay with us. Stay on the bright side. Friends, glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. We will definitely win.